Pours between a half to an inch and a half of rain in a very short.
Tiger King is the biggest thing on TV right
Hey,
now.
Stacey.
It tells a terrifying story filled with
Can you make me a sandwich, please?
animal abuse, polyamory, and a bizarre murder plot.
What'd you say? Make you a sandwich?
Yeah, you might make me a sandwich?
No, I'm not making you a sandwich. Why you can't get up? I've been dealing with the kids all day. Why can't you get up and make a sandwich?
I just asked for
No, I'm not making a sandwich. Don't ask me to make you no sandwich. I'm not doing it. I'm busy. You act like my life not important unless it's revolving around you. I'm not making a sandwich. Get up and make your own sandwich. You want me to cook for you, clean for you, wash your dirty drawers? I'm tired. All you do is sit in that office all day, then come and watch TV. Get up and do it yourself. You are a grown man. Why you want me to do everything for you? We got 3 kids. No, better yet, I have 4 kids because you're one of them.
This is a video about submission. There are 2 types of wives. The Proverbs 31 wife and the Proverbs 27 wife. Let's get into it.
Hey, crew.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. This is After the Vow, where we have real deal conversations about marriage. If you like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Today, we are talking about
Submission.
Submission. That is a really hard subject for women to talk about.
We can talk about it. It's just not gonna be the way that you guys want us to talk about it, right? I don't know why submission used to be so hard for me. I think I had the
Used to be?
I still struggle with it every now and then.
Oh, okay. Tell me something.
I think I had the wrong perspective on what submission was or is.
What was your perspective?
I know a lot of y'all watching probably seen Coming to America. At the very beginning of the movie, she was like jumping on one leg, like whatever you like. And I'm like, no ma'am, that won't be me. I was raised by a single mother, and so I went 24 years without a man telling me what to do. Getting married at 24, I wasn't gonna start letting a man tell me what to do. So it was a real struggle trying to come into a marriage and be a wife, and a submissive wife at that.
You know what? I think a lot of us men, including me, had the wrong idea of submission too. Like, I'm actually reminded of that episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, whenever he had the girlfriend that did everything he wanted, and like his life was perfect and his kids were perfect. That's what I thought like being a husband and a father would be like. So I don't know if that's kind of like the same illustration, but even in that actually went through it and showed what it would be like if his wife actually was perfect and his kids was perfect, and it drove him nuts. So I don't think we really want that, and I don't think God wants that for us either. So let's talk about exactly what the word submission really means. So the word submit means to accept or yield to a superior force, or to the authority or to the will of another person. If I'm being honest, that sounds bad.
It does, like superior. I think you're my equal. Hearing that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know about y'all.
I don't know, I might be the only man to think this, but I think the whole idea of submitting, it actually terrifies me even. And the reason why is because the Bible talks about how I'm now accountable to this person and to treat her as she is myself. And I don't know about you, but I feel like if you're a man and you get like excited like about the idea of a woman submitting you, you just like, yeah, like she get to do whatever I tell her to. I don't think you understand the word. There should be a huge weight and responsibility that comes with that. Like, yeah, she has to submit to me, which means that my will and my alignment has to be absolutely correct, because it's not just me now. Like, I have a whole person that I have to be responsible for. That's like really heavy.
Well, yeah, because in Ephesians, it tells you that you are supposed to love your wife as Christ loved the church. And we all know, I mean, it's Easter Sunday.
Christ died for the church.
Facts.
It says to live with your wives in an understanding way. So that means you almost have to submit your patience and your time and your effort back to her.
It seemed like you had a struggle with that word as well when it was on yourself.
Yeah.
Submit. You said that really,
Yeah, submit.
really hard.
I don't think it has anything to do with you just doing what I tell you to do. It's more about like my alignment. It has to be correct with God, and then you're in line with that.
I think it's a pretty equal amount of respect that goes with the wives submitting to the husbands and the husbands loving the wives as Christ loved the church. I think it's equal there, and once you see it as that, then it's easier to follow along.
Absolutely. The spiritual weight of it is equal. I'll put it that way. The Bible does say that the man is superior, but I don't think it means that like I'm greater than you. It means that spiritually we carry the same weight, but obviously physically I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you. So I think with a lot of marriages out there, they would really be healthy if they change their lingo a little bit. And I think a dangerous term that we use is 50-50 relationship. And I think the danger of that is basically saying that if I'm giving 70 or 80%, I'm immediately wanting to withdraw and cut back to 50%. Like, oh, I'm doing too much. She's not doing enough. So let me scale back. Let me be less of a husband, less of a father, give her a chance, or, to encourage her to do better. And I think that's the wrong mindset to have. I think marriages should be 300%, meaning I give 100%, she gives 100%, and then it's 100% God.
I agree with it being more than 50-50. We definitely should each bring 100% of ourselves into the marriage. Like we talked about in another video, two whole people are supposed to come together in marriage, and not, because if someone's broken, then that marriage can't be healthy unless they work within their marriage to build each other up. But still, that takes 100% from each person.
And the beauty of being 100% is that puts the accountability back on yourself. So on the days where I'm not doing, where I know I could be honest with myself, like I'm like 90% today, that 10% can't be her fault. When you get to heaven, you have to be accountable for all of your actions. So you can't get to heaven like, well, but she, or well, he, and I feel like that's what a lot of people do. Even when we talk about submission, there's women that's like, well, it has to be a certain type of man, or he has to do these certain type of things in order for me to submit to him. And that's the wrong mindset to have. So when it talks about husbands, love your wives, that's where you stop. When it talks about wives, respect your husbands, that's not for you. And the same thing for women. That verse about husbands, that's not for you to understand. You focus on your part and you do your part 100%, and then trust God for the rest.
Like you said, you're 90% today. The 10% is not my fault. I think they would be playing the blame game if you said it was my fault, but it's also in a marriage, you're a team. So if I felt like you were 90%, I feel like that is my job, or that would be nice of me to pick up that 10%, because I see that you're lacking in some areas. I think in a marriage you are a team. But also when you said give it over to God, you do your part and give it over to God. I feel like before you even get married, if you feel like it's somebody that you can't submit to, you can't follow, then don't marry that person.
Don't even put yourself in that position.
Right.
It's a covenant with God. So this is a promise. So this is way different than the responsibility that you have of your kids, of your family, of your community. This is the direct covenant to make this right. So when we talk about I'm having a 90% day and you giving the 10% to make up for it, I don't think that always necessarily means taking over my responsibility. Sometimes that simply means, DJ, you're 90% today. How can you get to 100? Or what can I do to help you get to 100? But it doesn't necessarily mean that you do more. It just means you have a mindset, a team mindset, to get us back on track. All right, so I want to talk about the infamous Proverbs 31 wife, right?
She be cooking and cleaning and cleaning and cooking. That's a lot.
She does a lot. So there's a whole verse in the Bible about this woman, and every woman, I think, every Christian woman, I think, aspires to be this woman. But there comes a moment in the day or in a conversation where you have the choice to be a Proverbs 31 wife or the Proverbs 27 wife. So
what's
the 27 wife is the complete opposite of the 31 wife. She's compared to the leaking of a roof, right? She's compared to being so annoying that it's like basically a problem that you can't get rid of. And I think that a lot of women, because of the polarization of the word submit, they tend to be the complete opposite to exert their strength, to display their character in a relationship, as opposed to just being soft and timid. And I think that's a dangerous contrast, and that's only happening because women don't understand the word submit.
So I'm not quite the Proverbs 31 woman that I would like to be, but I'm also not the 27. So I might be somewhere Proverbs 29 or something.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay, help me, God.
And I think there's certain verses that say men and there's certain verses that say women, but really it's talking about all of us. When you look into the context of the entire Bible, it talks about revenge not being yours, it belongs to the Lord. It talks about turning the other cheek when somebody does you wrong. And then you have a verse that specifically mentions women, when it says that you should live your life in a certain way. I forgot exactly how it goes, but you should live basically in a certain way to win your husband over without a word if he's not a believer. So you talk about a man having to be a certain way in order for you to submit to him, but there's a particular verse that talks about even if your man is not a believer, you should still be that Proverbs 31 wife so you can win him over. So it's all about your obedience to God, not necessarily your obedience to your husband.
Y'all know, like, we are really transparent and we keep it real. The things that we talk about, we've been through. Like when we first got together, when we were dating, you were agnostic.
Yeah.
So that was the point I made the decision whether I wanted to be with you or not. And I had to do exactly what the scripture says. Now, I didn't get it right all the time, but we did start going to church more. You got baptized.
Well, I'll tell you what you did. So your resilience and your persistence, I think, won me over because I've always been a very indecisive person. I've always been a person that just kind of went with the wind. I didn't really have like a firm foundation in life. And there was just certain things that you just would not bend on, you know?
I am a very strong-minded, strong-willed person, especially when it came to God.
Yeah.
So I was like...
I think that won me over. So that's definitely encouragement to you single women out there that you win men over with your strength. There's nothing wrong with being strong, but strong doesn't mean this. Strong just means this is what I believe. I'm not bending on it.
Right. If you want to be with me, you're gonna love God. Okay.
And don't bend over for him. And
right. Come to church with me. What?
It all comes back full circle. I had to submit because she was in line with the will of God and I wasn't. So yeah, there's certain verbiage in the Bible that says men and women, but you got to look at the Bible as a whole. You can't just take scriptures and then cherry pick them out and like, yeah, this says submit to me. There's a whole list of responsibilities that come with that. So fellas, we still have a responsibility to be that man that she is to submit to. And I think a good way to do that is to look at your day, look at the decisions that you make and say, you know what, if my wife made all of these decisions because, right, she's you as well. If she made these same exact decisions, would I be happy with the decisions that she's making? And most of us can't really say that. I mean, it's not, it doesn't mean that you all going out cheating, but it's just like certain things throughout the day that if your wife did it, it would be unproductive even, not necessarily wrong, but you're not leading the household. So when it says lead, that means you're on the front lines in the battle. So imagine going to war and then the person at the very front of the line is the person to sword, like that's the husband. The husband doesn't lead from the back and say, well, no, you do this and you do that. Like that's not how you lead. Lead means being in the front. This is a very, very deep topic, and I don't think we can just really cover it all in this video. So make sure you subscribe. I feel like there's a whole lot of different other subjects we have to talk about before we talk about submission, because submission is not just like point blank and dry. There's a whole lot of responsibilities that come with that on both sides of the spectrum. So again, if you like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This has been After the Vows. My name is DJ.
My name is Stacy.
Out that thing.
Peace. Hey crew, so this is like the end of the video. Thank you guys who made it to the end. We really appreciate y'all for watching, but we want to check on the people who had a love language of physical touch and quality time. How are y'all doing out there? Because this quarantine, I got a whole quarantine bay over here and it's still a struggle sometimes. So If you had that love
You
language,
stalker, you can't touch me?
huh?
You can't touch me?
I can touch you.
What you mean?
I'm saying like the people that's, quarantined by themselves, the single people.
Single people.
So I just wanted to reach out and let y'all know, I love y'all. I'm thinking about y'all. Hit me up on Instagram and After the Vows if you want to talk, the quality time thing. I'm here to help. So, but yeah.
Quarantine got people wanting to get married like prisoners and conjugal visits.
Leave a comment below. Let us know how y'all doing and where you're watching from. And we will see y'all on the next video. Y'all have a blessed and happy Easter Sunday. Peace.